Hello, and welcome back to your Emotional Support Podcast. I'm your host, Noelle Rizzio. In this season, we've been helping working moms stop the guilt cycle, reclaim their worth, and move from juggling to thriving. Today's episode is called The Comparison Trap, Escaping the Highlight Reel. So important. So let's be honest, it's never been easier to feel less than. If you scroll for 5 minutes, you're suddenly convinced that everyone else is happier, healthier, more organized, more patient, and apparently living in homes that look like a mix between a spa and a magazine spread. Really, that's where my mind goes. I am completely jealous of what other people's homes look like. Meanwhile, you're reheating your coffee for the third time and wondering if laundry counts as cardio. So today we're going to talk about how social media fuels mom guilt and perfectionism, why comparison steals your joy and your self-worth, and how to start rewriting your own standards because you get to define what enough looks like in your life. Later, I'm going to share a story with you about me and some girlfriends and how we found ourselves trapped in the same comparison spiral without even realizing it. So let's start with the big truth. Comparison isn't new, but access to everyone else's highlight reels is. In the past, you might have compared yourself to like your next door neighbor or your best friend, somebody that you saw in person all the time. Now you're comparing yourself to hundreds, sometimes thousands of women online. You're comparing your real life to someone else's edited version. And that's what we forget. Their best moments, you're comparing to your behind the scenes chaos. And for moms especially, it's brutal because so much of your identity is tied to caring, managing, and doing. When you see someone else who seems to do it better, this hits you right where it hurts, your self-worth. It whispers, she's doing more. She looks better. Her kids seem happier. What's wrong with me? But the truth is, you're comparing data that's not even real. For me, it's the cleanliness. When I watch these women on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, they always have a clean house and mine looks like garbage and it makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong. Why is their house always so clean and tidy? Mine definitely is not. So here's what's really happening. Your brain loves comparison. It's wired to measure where you stand in the tribe. Social media taps into that ancient survival instinct and supercharges it with algorithms that show you what you're already paying attention to. So if you stop on one video about morning routines for successful moms, guess what your feed becomes? A never ending parade of women who apparently have it all together before 8 a.m. It's not real life. It's all curated, and it's curated in a way that makes you feel guilty. And here's the deeper danger. Comparison turns someone else's story into your measuring stick. It makes their version of motherhood the standard, and your own life starts to feel like it's coming up short. So here's my story. When I was working at the school, my girlfriends and I would gather every morning for coffee time. We called it collaboration, but it really was caffeine, self-care, and therapy all rolled into one. We would catch each other up on our kids, work, husband's life, but somehow the conversation always shifted. One of us would mention a new age serum she saw online. Another one would start talking about the latest workout challenge or, diet craze. Someone else got sucked into a TikTok about the perfect capsule wardrobe. And suddenly, without realizing it, we were all doing that thing. We were comparing our bodies, our homes, our parenting, everything to people that we don't even know. I caught myself thinking if I could just get it together like this person or that person, maybe I'd feel better. Later that day, later one day it hit me. We actually weren't craving that person's life. We were craving, I cannot talk today. We were craving how we imagined she felt: calm, confident, worthy. But you can't feel like her because you're not meant to. You're meant to feel like you. And that's when I realized that we were all successful, confident women who are constantly comparing ourselves to these fake, perfect ideals. I wanted us to be able to be happy just being who we are because we're already so amazing. And that is really the tipping point of what got me on this self worth crusade. So, how does comparison erode our self worth? Comparison does three sneaky things. One, it keeps you chasing someone else's standards. Instead of asking, what makes me happy, you're asking, what will make me look like her? It also distorts your progress. You stop celebrating how far you've come because you're too far focused on how far someone else appears to be. It also disconnects you from your own truth. You forget that your worth isn't measured in filters, productivity, or perfection. It's measured in presence, love, and authenticity. When your worth comes from being real, comparison loses its power. All right. So if you're tired of measuring yourself against everyone else's highlight reel, I've got something that'll help you connect with your own story. You can grab my Self Worth Journal Prompts for Moms, a free guide that helps you untangle comparison, quiet the guilt, and rediscover who you are beneath all that noise. You can grab it at noellerizio.com or by tapping the link in the show notes. All right, let's get back to it because your worth was never meant to be a competition. So, how do you escape this comparison trap? I'm going to give you a few ideas that you can actually start using today. The first one, curate your feed intentionally. If you've listened to me before, I tell you to follow zoos. Okay, I know it sounds silly, but I follow all the zoos on social media. And then my feed is filled with these cute baby animals and these cute animals doing cute things. Anyway, so find something that feels real to you, that brings you joy. Unfollow or mute accounts that make you feel less than, and then fill your feed with voices that feel human, not perfect. I purposely don't use filters. I don't do a lot of editing in my podcast, in my posts, because I want you to see the real me. I don't want you to see the edited version. Okay. I do a little bit of editing, but I mean, you've heard me make mistakes in this podcast already. This is real. I want you to see what's real, not what's perfect, because I'm not perfect. And then I want you to create your own metrics. Ask yourself, what does enough look like for me right now in this season where I am right now? Maybe enough is a messy kitchen and happy kids, or a late start and a full heart. And then I want you to practice gratitude for your real life. Every time comparison sneaks in, counter it with three things that are yours: your strength, your people, and your moments. What are the things that you are good at? Who are the people in your life? What are those moments that really make your life fulfilling? And then I want you to be someone else's real. Someone else is not perfect. Post that unfiltered stuff sometimes. Post the chaos, the laughter, the imperfection. You never know who else might need to see that real life is still beautiful. Here's the truth: comparison will always exist, but it doesn't have to control you. The next time you catch yourself scrolling and spiraling, remind yourself, I'm not behind. I'm just living a life that is authentically mine. If today's episode hit home, make sure to grab your free Self Worth Journal Prompts for Moms at my website. It's the perfect way to reconnect with you. And if you know another mom that is struggling with that same comparison, who is amazing and confident and wonderful in so many things, but seems to always be comparing herself to someone else or what's online, share this episode with her because I guarantee you she needs to hear it too. So next week is our last week of season 2, and we are talking about the freedom formula, letting go of guilt and getting your life back. You don't want to miss it. And if you haven't signed up for my Quiet Your Inner Critic 1-hour workshop, the first 10 people who sign up are going to get 50% off. So go do that right now on my website. I'll link it in the show notes too, because I want you guys to be the first people that get access to that 50% off. You don't need a code or anything like that. It's just the first 10 people that get there are going to get that 50% off. It's called Quieting Your Inner Critic. It's a 1-hour live workshop. I think it's like the first week in February. It's in the evening. So hopefully not around like dinner time or bedtime. I can't remember when I scheduled it. I tried to be cognizant of that. But until then, remember, your worth isn't up for comparison. You're already enough exactly as you are. I am so glad you're here.